Alright everybody, so today's video is going to be on pet turtle myths. What's true, what's not true. Are they good pets, are they not? Because again, I've seen videos that, hey, turtles are not beginner pets, or turtles aren't for everyone, or they're boring, blah blah blah. I thought we'd get right into it. So the first one is, turtles are like fish. You put them in your tank, and they'll just sit there, and you watch them from a distance, and that's it. And yes, you'll add food, and they'll eat, and you'll see them basking, but you can't really pet them or interact with them. So that couldn't be more far from the truth. I'm going to clear some of these bubbles here, and we're going to get Big Bertha's attention, and she's going to come up for a whole lot of loving. Hi! She loves to come up to the top. She loves to get her hand held, be pet. It's really nice, really simple. I'll show you some other little moves that we'll do when we get her attention. You got to get these bubbles out of here. Come on. Here she comes. Oh, yeah. Hi. Hi. You're going to be on video now. I know. So right away, and here comes Jubilee right behind her. She's underneath the bubbles, actually. She's here. But right away, turtles can come to you. They'll recognize you. You can pet them. It's really awesome. They are much more hands-on than most people say. Bertha, come on up for this video. Yeah, here you go. All the way from the bottom corner. You can interact, splash. It's a lot of fun. There we go after her play lap. So another thing she really likes is we'll spin her around and we'll get her a good little grasp here, and then we'll just pet her. And she's very content and she loves to be here. She loves to get a good rub down. She'll dip her head underwater. I'll pick it up. We play around. She absolutely loves this. She comes for this all the time, and most of the time what will happen is Jubilee will come up right behind, go around, stack up on top of her, and then I have to pet them both at the same time, which is kind of, if you've ever played WarioWare for the GameCube, when you're in that mini game where you have to stack turtles, it's kind of what we do here is when we get the turtle stacked. But that's to blow the first myth right out of the water, that turtles don't like to be pet, you can't pet them, you can't interact with them. No, not true. You can absolutely do that. They're a great pet for that reason. Now let's go ahead and head into some more myths, okay? Okay, so we got Big Bertha out, so why don't we go over some other questions? One of the big ones is, turtles can leave their shells. Alright guys, not true. I know you've seen in some games, and especially popular because of the Mario series with the Koopas, is turtles cannot leave their shells. Their top and a hard bottom are part of them. They can't leave the shell. It goes all the way around the side, and they are completely connected. There's no way for them to come out. They don't come out. They don't go into a new shell like a crab or something. Their shell is part of their body, and it grows with them. The other thing people think is turtles can go all the way inside their shell. Well, that's another untruth. And in fact, although the turtle shell is used for protection, a lot of the times it's not that great, especially when turtles are younger. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you look, the turtle's got exposed skin everywhere, and if we can get her to go in, she can't really go in. She tucks her arms into the side, her front and back feet, as well as her back tail, but that's still all exposed. Something sharp could get in there, and even if they tuck their head in, see if I can get her to tuck her head in, that's about as far as it can go. And when a turtle is younger, the shell is not grown out as much, and it doesn't protect them as much. I'll show you what I mean. So you saw Big Bertha, her arms can get under this big lip, and it's tucked pretty far in there, although it's not inside, but there's a good overhang, about ½ an inch, right? So now we have Casey Jones, who is a much younger red ear slider, who's trying to get away, and I wanted to keep species the same, but if you look, see if I can get him to tuck in here, he doesn't have as big of an area. So although that you would think, hey, a turtle can tuck all the way in, come in here, Casey. Can you go in at all? There we go. If you look at his arms, they kind of just sit in front. See that? It's right there. That's as deep as it goes because his shell isn't as big. So it hasn't grown out as far, and even his head, he can't get his head all the way in because the top of the shell only goes out so far. And same thing with the back. Look at those legs. They're completely exposed from the bottom. So any type of creature that can clamp down will still be able to catch the flesh of the bottom foot. He's very mad. And he'd bite me. Wanna bite these? No? Okay. So let's keep moving on. And just to show you guys, here's April O'Neil, another example. And you can see, even with her arms tucked, look at how much of that skin still would be exposed for a good bite. Even from the back, from the sides. Turtles are really vulnerable. Here's a lot of soft meat right here. They're really vulnerable. The feet stick out because there's her head tucked in, which, look at it from above. Bam, nice and bite. Right there, we'll nip the nose. They need time for their shell to get big for them to grow that defense. So the other myth, though, while we have her out, is turtles can breathe underwater. Okay, come on, guys. That's not true. Turtles are air breathers. They're not like fish. They don't have gills, so they cannot breathe underwater. Although, depending on the type of turtle, it will spend more or less time underwater. They still will have to come up and grab some air. Now, I've already talked about why you want to still add an air pump to oxygenate the water. That way you'll keep bad bacteria out of the water that the oxygen prevents from growing, but they themselves cannot breathe underwater. So then one of the other questions, though, is don't get turtles because turtles are dirty or turtles smell. And in fact, I would be at people's homes before who had turtles, and their water is green, and it does smell. And that's not the turtle's fault. That's your fault. You need good filtration. Filters, what does it mean? So, let's go underneath. And sorry, guys, this might be a bit loud. I don't know by the time we go underneath my tank here, or underneath the stand. Let's get this. Go like this. But it's up to you as the turtle keeper to have good filtration. So underneath in the stand, I have 3 different filters. Your standard big boy filters to just clean and push water, one on each side. And then in the middle, this filter here has a UV light that's killing algae and bad bacteria. If you want to have a non-smelling, super clean turtle tank, guys, overbuy on the filters. That's what you need. This is the 90-gallon tank, and you've got filters for a 400-gallon tank, a 200-gallon tank, things like that, and they're doubled up because I want to keep that water moving. I want it going through the bacteria, through the good bacteria in here, the bacteria colonies, through the charcoal, through the UV light. I want my water to be crystal clear, clean, healthy for people, and healthy for the turtles, and not smelly. So here's another one that comes up, and I can't even believe this is on a list that's been gathered for me, is what kind of turtles are the Ninja Turtles? Well, traditionally, the Ninja Turtles were actually modeled off of this kind of turtle. That's Big Bertha. She's a red-eared slider. That's what the traditional model, the traditional go with. And I think when most people, come here, Bertha, when most people think turtles, this is the turtle that they go to. Oop, she's sliding down. Red-eared slider. That is your Ninja Turtle. Although now, actually, I see that they're going to be making all 4 turtles a different species of turtle, snapping turtle, red-eared slider, etc. But the traditional 4 brother turtles, they were red-eared sliders. Okay, so here's a partial truth. Turtles need to sleep underwater. Well, yes, they can sleep underwater. In fact, some do, and a lot of the times they do. Sometimes they also sleep above water. Sometimes they sleep buried under mud or under leaves. It really depends on the type of turtle. If you have a turtle that hibernates under the water, they're going to sleep under the water. But again, most can't hold their breath for a long time, so there's a variation going on. But yes, turtles can and do sleep underwater. It just depends on the turtle. So this is a big one. Turtles are not a good pet for kids. Okay, and again, this has to do with the turtle being dirty, although for more reason. This has to do with the fact that turtles can carry salmonella. Yep, they absolutely can carry salmonella. Again, they go to the bathroom in their water, and their waste sits in their water, even if they have filters. So there's a chance that the bacteria can get on the turtle shell, things like that. Not every turtle has salmonella, and not every turtle doesn't have it, right? So again, you keep your water as clean as possible, but like with most reptiles and animals, you don't want to handle the reptile and then stick your whole hand into your mouth, right? Like, you don't want to pet a dog like crazy and the dog smells, maybe it's been outside, and then you lick your fingertips. You wash your hands after you handle the turtle. Even though there's things that you can do to minimize that, again, filtration, big algae eaters that suction themselves to the back of the turtle shell and eat off any food and stuff like that. These are all pluses that can be done. Hi, Bertha. But you always want to be clean when working with reptiles. That doesn't mean that they're bad for kids. Now, the warning for kids is like small kids who don't know, 2, 3, 4, 5 years old. I don't know. I don't know when kids learn to wash their hands. But you don't want to be like, oh, wow, pet the turtle. My fingers taste good, right? So you got to avoid that. Okay, so another one. And again, a lot of these guys come from partial truths is you cannot keep more than one male turtle in a tank. So the thing is, turtles can fight. Female turtles can fight if they make each other mad, but male turtles will typically fight for dominance reasons. It's not like in the mammal kingdom where warm-blooded animals, typically there's some type of pack leader and they'll get in line. With reptiles, they're typically traditionally, hi, I know you want to come out, but we're filming a video. Oh boy, here we go. World's strongest turtle, pull-ups. But traditionally, reptiles just always want dominance and always want to get with as many females as possible. So yes, the safest thing you can do is house multiple females, but you can have a male. That's why with the Ninja Turtles, it was so impractical that here's this small little tank and you have multiple male turtles. Now, when they're smaller and they're not going for dominance and they haven't hit sexual maturity yet and they're not trying to mate, having males is fine. If your tank is big enough, and by no means is a 90-gallon tank really big enough, 300-gallon, 400-gallon tank, you can probably get away with multiple males, especially if they're a smaller breed of turtle, where they have more room to hide from each other, to stay separated and things like that. But most of the time in a traditional home setup, you don't have that. And so the last myth I want to hit for this video, for people who are thinking of getting turtles, we've hit, can you house multiple males? We've hit, are they dirty? Are they friendly? Are they expensive? Are they easy to care for? Are they easy to own? This is probably the biggest one that are going to make either you decide or your parent decide if you show them this video. And turtles have a startup cost. The turtle itself is actually relatively cheap. When you get a turtle, if you're doing things that are right, guys, keep in mind you're going to be in this for the long haul. So do your research. So turtles, live 30, 40, 50 years on some of them. Let's keep that in mind. So you're going to have a companion that's going to really bond with you and be around for a long time. Okay? One. When you get a turtle and they're, yay big, the smallest size that pet stores are allowed to own, I think it's 2 inches, allowed to sell. You're going to get in and you're going to buy your starter tank. But with a turtle, there's going to be a little work because you're going to want to upgrade that tank. Putting a small turtle in a tank this big is going to be too big. It's going to be overwhelming. It's not going to be good for the turtle. But you get your 20-gallon tank from the pet store and you put your turtle in it and you get a nice little dock and then you're going, and then chances are, because you have a small tank, you've got a small filter that you have to clean often, that the water is still dirty, that is a pain in the butt to clean, and it smells, and maybe it's expensive. So turtles, you're going to have them a long time, so they're going to be an investment, although they're a great pet, but they're not crazy expensive. Spend some of the correct money up front. So start your turtle in a 40-gallon tank. Don't start them in a 20-gallon tank. That way you can get a decent sized filter. When I showed you the filters underneath, those big black canister filters, I'd put that on a 40-gallon tank. So you can throw a big filter like that. And the nice thing about a larger canister filter is a lot of them allow you to adjust the flow rate. So the fear is in a smaller tank, a filter that's too big is going to be pushing all that water, the turtle can't relax. But if you get a good filter up front that you can adjust the flow rate on, you can use it for the tank that they're in. Heck, you could even use one of those for a 20-gallon tank, to be honest, because you can really turn that flow rate down. And then that pump and filter can move with the turtle to larger tanks. So that's one. But they do need space because they do need a dock. Now, maybe they don't need 2 by 2 foot by 2 foot dock, but you're going to need to give them a dock, a good dock. And you're going to need to get them set up with a UV light because they need it to grow, whereas fish and other things don't. But that type of stuff you can move around. So they're not super expensive. If you get a used tank like I did, sometimes you can find them for free. Sometimes you can get them for way cheaper. I personally would never pay more than $1 per gallon because once a year your big pet store does $1 per gallon tank, and you get it, and you can get a huge tank for a great price. So as long as you pay under that, you're in a good spot. And just take your time. Set up your tank. Set it up. If you're really committed on buying a turtle, get everything for the turtle first. Get it set up. Get your water moving. And then you can go out and you can get the turtle you want, and you can throw it in, and the temps will be right, and the bacteria will be set, and your water will stay clean, and you've already done the temps for your dock. So no, turtles do not have to be expensive. Filters now run so energy efficient on a lot of them. You're not going to see an uprise in electricity bill or anything like that. And you will have a pet that will come to the front of the tank, sometimes more than reptiles will, than larger reptiles, for feeding time and things like that. For instance, let's see if I get a treat when we're leaving out here and we're getting Big Bertha. If I get her a shrimp, we'll see if she'll come up and eat this. But I've seen too many videos, again, by popular reptile channels, things like that, of don't get turtles, they're not a good pet, or the truth about getting turtles. The truth is, guys, done right, these are so amazing, and they're so smart, and they are better than a lot of other reptiles. But that doesn't mean they're for everyone. There's definitely some people who maybe want a pet they can take for a walk around the block, right? And your turtle, although it could probably do that, it's probably not going to want to do that. So let's see if we can get Bertha to come up here for her treat. Hi. Can you come? Gotta show it to her, and then I'm gonna bring it to the camera. There we are. Okay. Come on. There we go. So no, they are fun. You can interact with them. You can train them. Don't be scared away from the videos that say they're not good, they're dirty, they're smelly, they're expensive. That's all false. Done right, great pets. Hope I busted some myths for you guys and told you the truth about owning pet turtles. This has kind of been a generic video, and there are a lot of subspecies of turtles. Red ear slider, yellow belly, painted turtle, snapping turtle, alligator snapping turtle. So, there are turtles that have different temperaments, but your most common turtle that you see at the store is a red ear slider. So, alright guys, take care.